Okay, so quick update on Bitcoin and where we are at the moment heading into the latter part of the week, and maybe what you can look out for. So essentially we're basically trending up from the $30,000 that we hit back in July, and really just trending up in this channel. Okay, that seems like the most likely path for Bitcoin to follow. So like I said, we can still fall probably as low as like 50k, somewhere in that region, and still be bullish. Anything really below that and below 40k, then I would start to change my mind, and then maybe you could look at it as a double top. But until then, don't fight momentum. So I'm still thinking the most likely thing to happen is to, at some point in the next week or two, break to new all-time highs. So whether we get whether we move down a little bit lower first, we're not sure, or we move to the upside. But essentially what you can see is that we're actually being held down by the trend line up here from last week's high at 67k, and basically if you actually look at what's actually happening is we've got this little bit of a supply zone up here, and we moved up here quite quickly. So 4.5% move on Monday, straight from 60k up to about 63.5k, and you know, the other zone to look out for is this 60k region. And the more times that we test this, then you know, the more likely I would suggest that it is to break. And we've also got this trend line sort of coming up here, which is something to look out for. So really, what would make me bullish and say, right, I think we are going to all-time highs, and at least challenging it, is basically essentially a break of this line to get above the local high of yesterday, and that would tell me and indicate that we can basically challenge this region and maybe start moving up towards the 70k region. Okay, so you know, if you're going to play something like that, then yeah, there might be like a 9 to 10% room for upside up here. But if we were to maybe fall below this trend line, below here, the 60k region, we get some sort of high time frame close down here, or maybe on like the 4 hour to daily, then maybe I would look for prices to move a little bit lower before we move higher. The worst case scenario for me that I would suggest would probably be somewhere in the 53k area. Is probably, again, that's probably the worst case scenario that I could see for the short term before we maybe make an attempt at moving higher. And then also that would also be, you know, in and around a 20% correction from the peak, from the top. Okay, so Bitcoin might give you that opportunity, but if we do break below this, we might get a quick dip into, like I said, the 56 to 53 region, somewhere in and around here, and then we can see if we get some support and get it bounce up. So worst case scenario down here, but as soon as we break this trend line, I would expect us to move higher and basically into challenging all-time high territory. So those basically are the zones to look out for. A break of 60, we move lower, a break of this trend line, and a break of 63 into the 64k region on a higher time frame close around the 4 hour would be very bullish, and then we can sort of continue on our way higher. So that's basically just something to look out for. I don't envisage for sure, at least this week anyway, even if we were to move low into lower targets, anything below 53, I don't see that as a very likely option. So yeah, so let's see where that brings us. And also, if you look at this, these patterns don't often play out, to be honest. On the chart, it looks like sometimes you might get this sort of head and shoulders. Definitely something to look out for. But if we do break below this, then I think a 1-to-1 fib would be, again, that probably put us somewhere in that region. There we go, about 56. And what would that put us? Yeah, from the top to the bottom, somewhere around 53. Okay, if we were to get that break on the neckline. But yeah, let's say we had any break above that trend line that we put up before. We challenged new all-time highs. Anything below 60, we can challenge lower and dip into the mid to low 50s potentially. So let's see how this turns out.